Hi everyone, thanks for joining me today for Roots and Shoots time. Today we are going to look into our last body of water in our summer series called Living Waters. Let's bow our heads together and then we can jump into our story time. Heavenly Father, thank you for bringing us through this time of challenge and sacrifice and helping us to become a community again together. Please help us as we listen to your word today, that you would open our hearts and help us to learn from it and what we can do to be closer to you. Amen. So yeah, it's been a fast summer. It's really gone by. And so today is our last installment in our Living Water series. Today we are talking about something that might not jump to mind when you think about bodies of water on Earth, but they are vital. And they are natural hot springs. And a lot of us maybe wouldn't think necessarily of a hot spring, but we would think of a spa. And a spa kind of evolved from the traditional treatments and healing things that people did around a hot springs. So has anyone ever gone to a spa? Maybe you've seen somebody on a TV show or in a movie go to a spa. They sound really nice. Nice mud bath. Cucumbers on your eyes, massage with hot, smooth stones, maybe someone gently rubbing lotion into your face while soothing music plays in the background. A spa sounds really relaxing. And for many people around the world, it's more than just relaxing. It's actually an important part of their healing process. The term spa comes from a town in Belgium named Spa. And the name actually, in Roman times, this town was called Acque Spadagne. And if there's any Roman people around, I don't know if that's how you actually pronounce it, but I always try my best, folks. I did look up how to say this in Latin, and it's essentially spargare is the root word of spadagne. And that's a Latin word that means to sprinkle or to moisten or to scatter. So that may be the connection there. Spa, the town in Belgium, has been famous since the 1400s as a place with these hot springs that people could go and soak in to feel better if they were sick or something. So the waters of these hot springs that fill the area, the pools around Bath, are full of minerals. And minerals can have a healing effect on the body, just like, remember when we talked about the Dead Sea? This is the same thing. The people who bathe in these hot springs report that their skin conditions clear up and that their breathing conditions improve if they have asthma or something after a good soak. Over the years, the 1400s, they started going to this place called Spa in Belgium. And as stories of their healing properties came out and grew, people started coming more and more and more. And again, over the years, things develop. And people all over the world at this point began opening their own smaller versions and calling it a spa. And that's what we think of as like a day spa. And the services that they offer often vary, but they're generally a place where you can go to be soothed and to relax. Getting a mani-pedi is really nice. But the healing properties of mineral baths are believed by some to help with the healing process if you are struggling with something in your body. So people have looked into this, and it seems like there's a couple different things that could be working here. First, the temperature. These are hot springs that fill these baths and these pools. And I mean, not all springs are hot springs. To be called a hot spring, to have that classification, the water has to be hot. There's a certain temperature that it needs to be at. And it's warm because it's coming from deep down in the earth near the lava. That heats it. So when it comes up to come out at the earth's surface, it's hot. So very warm water has been proven in helping with healing because it reduces swelling and it encourages skin to regenerate faster. these healing hot baths are also full of minerals that help the body. And we talked about this with the Dead Sea video a little bit. So in the place in Spa in Belgium, they have silica, which can soften even very rough and very dry skin. There's sulfur, which has been known to help some skin conditions such as psoriasis, acne, and eczema. There's calcium, there's magnesium, there's lithium, there's a whole bunch of other things. And when all of these things are found in a hot spring, that's when it becomes, it goes from hot spring to like a mineral hot spring. And yeah, it's like this miracle pool for some people that helps them to feel better. So finding miraculous hot springs might be a little tricky. And that's why many times today we're more likely to visit a day spa or a resort that can offer kind of a carefully created version of their own kind of hot spring. The treatment that you get from one of these places is called balneotherapy. Some people believe in the power of balneotherapy as much or even more than they believe in the power of a doctor's knowledge or the relief that you can get in a medical facility like a hospital. So unfortunately, this faith is misplaced. These pools can help. They can offer health benefits. And of course, anyone with a chronic illness or condition can tell you that feeling good about your treatment plan is a very good thing. However, things like this should not be used as a substitute for an actual doctor. And these spas and pools and stuff, they might help you feel better and you might feel good about what you're doing, but they're not going to cure you like people in the olden days believed, the stories that would go around. So day spas and resorts are found all over the world, and you can experience some of the fanciest and nicest ones in parts of Europe and in Japan. Some of them are modern and stylish. Some of them are more traditional and rugged, but you can find one that suits your aesthetic and where you can be comfortable. You can find these things in malls and in hotels and in standalone businesses. They're pretty common these days. And some of the oldest ones in the world, this is probably not a surprise, are found in Belgium and in the area around the Dead Sea. And we know that Jerusalem, which is approximately a 2-hour drive from the Dead Sea, this is one of the places where you can find these very, very old hot springs and pools and stuff. And one of these is called the Pool of Bethesda, and it is right in Jerusalem. So the name of this pool comes from either Hebrew or Aramaic. Bethesda, which is 2 words, means either house of mercy or house of grace, depending on how it is used in a sentence. And this double meaning is appropriate because this pool was seen as a place of mercy where all these sick people could come for care, and also as a place of grace because of the healing that people thought could happen here. So the Bible that we use today uses the word Bethzatha instead. But we know for 2 reasons that this is the same pool that we're talking about with Bethesda. One of those is we know that Bibles go through edits and different versions and stuff like that. And sometimes words can get changed over time. And we also know because there's archaeologists who have studied this site of Bethesda, which is in ruins, unfortunately, now. But they know from what they've learned there that this is the place that we are talking about. So it's the same place. The story of this pool is that people could come here if they were really sick or struggling with a long-term health condition or something. And once in a while, an angel would come down from heaven and would stir up the waters to activate the healing miracle there. And the first person who made it down the stairs into the pool was healed. First come, first serve. Maybe that's where the saying came from. But so it gave people hope, and they would stay there for sometimes a really long time while they were waiting for their chance to get down to the waters to experience healing. And we're not talking about people who had like a cold or a paper cut here. These are people, their lives were really being affected by what they were going through with their body. So in the book of John, in the Bible, it tells us that Jesus was in Jerusalem for a festival, and he stopped by this particular pool. And the Bible mentions that there are 5 porticos, which is like a word for porch. And that's actually part of how the researchers kind of made the connection, because the ruins that they found, they had 5 porticos. And it's in the same place where this original pool was supposed to be. Anyway, I digress. So the Bible tells us, here, a great number of disabled people used to lie. The blind, the lame, the paralyzed. One who was there had been an invalid for 38 years. Jesus saw him lying there and had learned that he had been in this condition for a long time. He asked him, "Do you want to get well?" "Sir," the invalid replied, "I have no one to help me into the pool when the water is stirred. While I'm trying to get in, somebody else goes down ahead of me." And Jesus said to him, "Get up. Pick up your mat and walk." At once the man was cured. He picked up his mat and he walked. That's from John 5:3-9. So who knows how many times that man had hoped that this was his chance and he's going to head down and be the first one into the pool, only to be passed by someone who was faster or even pushed aside to get out of the way. Oh, it'd be so hard to lose out on that chance over and over and over again. And it really shows how deeply this man did have faith. He knew that the odds were slim, but he hoped that if he just waited there for long enough, his healing would come. And that's really what faith can be sometimes when we get right down to it, is just a deep hope. And of course, his chance did come, even though it was not how he expected it would come. God doesn't usually work in ways that we are expecting or the ways that we think that God should be working. And sometimes what we think of as a lost opportunity is actually, it just means that God has the chance to do something that we're not expecting. So stories like this one are a really good reminder for us to be patient, to have hope, to have faith, and also to keep our eyes open for signs that God is working that we aren't really expecting. Stories like this are also a really good reminder for us to watch out for the people that we are hurting when we make decisions or choices in our lives. Hear me out. Everything we do affects the people around us, whether they're in our family or they're friends, or if they're not, they're just in our community. Sometimes that effect is in big ways, and sometimes it is in very small ways, or we just don't notice. And it's really easy to fall into a habit of thinking about only ourselves and our own comfort and our own safety and our own freedom, especially if things are hard. It can become really easy to ignore the suffering of others as we race each other to the pool. When we do that, we ignore the face of God reflected in others. We become the person who lets other people suffer just so things are a little bit better for us. If Jesus really died as a sacrifice for everyone, then he is just as much the person who is stuck at the side of the well or the side of the pool, unable to reach the healing waters, as much as he is in the other person who gets there first. So it's really important for us to remember that we are put on this earth to protect the vulnerable. And sometimes that's uncomfortable for us. And that's okay. We are strong enough that we can bear that. And if we do it with grace and with dignity and with kindness, then all the better for us as we are part of God's kingdom together. So folks, I really hope that you're doing well. It seems like I see a lot of the world around us kind of getting back to normal. And I'm worried that the news that I'm going to take a break from videos for a little while is going to seem like I am doing that. And I want to assure you that I'm not. I know that this pandemic is not over until it's over for everyone. And sometimes that means people in our community that are not in a safe spot yet to rejoin the community. And I just want you to know that I'm still holding place for you. I still think about you and I still bless you. And I hold a place for you in my heart and in my prayers. And I hope that we can be together again safely and securely soon. And we're going to jump into the fall stuff here. Please stay tuned to what is coming out from Grassroots for this fall. There's some exciting things coming up. And if you're someone who's been connecting with these videos a lot and they mean a lot to you, it would be really good if you could email me and let me know. Sometimes I feel like I'm speaking into the void, and it's really nice to hear that somebody's actually watching. So, I'm going to take a break for a little bit. I'm not promising that, how long that'll be, but maybe that'll depend on how many emails I get. So, take an active participation here. But I do hope that you feel loved and cared for and seen this week. And as we jump into the new season, know that you're still part of our community, whether you're joining us in person or you're not. And we still care about you and hope that you're doing the best that you can be right now. So hang in there. We are getting through this one day at a time together.
You alone are my heart's desire.